All right, so this is part 3 of my 5th ride. So I just had been chatting with someone else at the barn for a while, so he was just standing here. I checked my cinch because we're gonna do a little loping, and he is a very roly-poly. He's got like a very round barrel, so I don't want my saddle rolling at the lope, so I just double checked my cinch there. He is very distracted by a horse that is off camera and grazing right now, but it's good for him. The distraction is always a good practice. He actually, I can't remember if it was this ride or another ride, but I was very happy with him because the one mare on the property started like running around her field, and he easily could have, I don't know, done something silly, but he didn't. I can't remember if it was this ride or a different ride. But he's overall pretty calm, cool, collected. You can see him looking at that other horse. Like, hey, he's over there grazing. Why can't I join? I got the end of my rein out. I have this bozal with, I don't even know the technical term for it, but it has a round rein and then an extra rein that is super handy on young horses, because when I ask for them to go up a gait, so to speed up either from the walk to a jog or jog to a lope, they get 3 chances, and the third cue, the last resort, is that extra rein. So the first cue is a bump on their sides with my legs. I give them a second or two to respond to that. If they don't respond to my leg cue, then I bump again, but I add my voice cue. And then if they don't respond to that, I use my leg, my voice, and the extra rein. So they get like 3 chances. Well, 2 chances before the rein, and then usually they respond to the rein. When you are first starting a horse, you got to give them time to like register that cue and respond to it. So if I bump them to move forward, I give them a few seconds to respond to that. I don't expect an immediate response to that bumping. Now, that said, if they've already learned that cue, so a couple rides later, they know what the bump means, and then I'm going to expect them to respond to it sooner. So it's a gradual process. I think I'm just working on some more steering. One thing that I think I did in this video is I kind of felt him like anticipate the lope. Like I kind of felt that he was excited at the trot, and he knew we were going to lope, and he was anticipating that. So to kind of counter that anticipation and engage his brain a little bit more, and kind of like maybe reduce his pre-lope anxiety, I did some steering with him just to like kind of mix it up and get his mind off of the loping. I don't know exactly at what point I did that, but I remember that was in this video at some point. I dropped my keys because they were jangling in my pocket. So he picked that jog up really nicely. He responds pretty well. Like he's really getting to know my leg cues, and I asked for that lope pretty quickly because I didn't want him to anticipate it. I didn't want him to get in his head and get nervous about it. So I felt, that I had an opportunity. He was relaxed, and I just asked for it without it being a big deal. Now you can see he keeps breaking gait, and that's okay. The same philosophy holds as in my last video, so I'm going to let him break gait, and then I'm just going to ask him for the lope again. This time I might have asked him to come down to the jog. So, he can come down to the jog when I ask him to, but he can't break gait. I mean, he can, but he's going to get corrected. And then I can't tell what I'm doing here. I think I'm getting heavy and asking, I think I'm asking him to come down to a walk. You can see I've tilted my head down. I kind of love looking at the ground. Yeah, and then I pet him when he transitions down to the walk. So even just as important as the upward transitions are the downward transitions. He's pretty good at the upward transitions. To be honest, we haven't practiced the downward transitions as much. So we'll need to work on that. He keeps wanting to come to the middle, so I just correct him, bring him back out to the rail. And then we'll go in the other direction here shortly.
It's always a success when
I'm not asking for a long lope at this point. With Loping being so new, this is only our second ride in which I'm asking for the lope, so I want to make it a pretty low stress thing for him. Later on, loping for a longer period of time becomes important, and it's really the only way you get them comfortable at the lope and kind of understanding and learning their own speed and body control, but that's a little bit too advanced at this point. So all I'm really asking for right now is for him to, pick up the lope, ideally without crow hopping or bucking me off. But, even if he crow hopped, I wouldn't get after him. I would just ask him to keep loping. And I would ask him to keep loping until he was going around nicely without crow hopping. Because that's not, usually a crow hop at this point it's not like they're trying to be bad. It's just they're not used to the feel of it yet, especially the saddle hitting them at the lope. I mean, not hitting them, but the way the saddle and rider feels at a lope is just different than at a walk or a jog, and I think it's more unnerving for them. So I never interpret, most cases I don't interpret a crow hop as like something that needs to be punished per se. It's just that I'm going to keep asking for the lope until they stop crow hopping, and I'm going to only reward them after they've gone around, at least a lap or two loping in a nice polite way. And surprisingly, honestly, Drifter has not crow hopped once at the lope, which is quite surprising. I was fully expecting him to crow hop. He picked that lope up pretty nicely. Again, no crow hopping. And now my only goal at this point is for him to go around a couple times without breaking gait, or at least, without breaking gait. If he does break gait, I'm going to ask him for it again. But I think this one he didn't break gait. He went around nicely, and then I asked him to come down. So you can see, again, I'm not asking for it for a long time, but it always has to be my choice whether we're speeding up or slowing down. I don't think I'm going to ask him for it again. I think I ended on that note. We'll see.
Good boy.
Yeah, I think I'm just asking him to come down to a walk. Just asking him to follow the rail. I honestly don't know if I asked him to do a little emergency stop there or if he was just turning his head in. I can't tell from my angle right now. That one looked like he stopped of his own accord, and I corrected him. So even though he's stopping when I don't want him to, he's really paying attention to me, which is nice. You can see his ears are kind of like flicking back on me. And it's just nice that he is paying, that his focus is on me and his head's not up looking around with his attention on something else. This looks like I asked him to stop, yep. And then I think I get off here, yep. All right, that's ride 5.